Oh, I started vlogging video.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So I started vlogging, and I want to kind of develop a skill set around how to actually do video storytelling.
Right.
And so, anyways, I set up my vlogging camera here, and it will be a mix of this footage and just trying to figure out what vlogging is about and learning how to use Final Cut. That's one of my little pet projects that I'd like to.
Where do you post it to, sir?
No, I don't know yet. Like my first video I made was that COVID safe video with
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
and I had so much fun doing it. I was like, oh hey, this is actually pretty interesting. And you know what? I'm always a whore for like computers, right? So I was like,
Right,
I always
right.
want to get powerful computers, but as you've told me, like now most of the heavy lifting is done on the server side, with
Yep,
the
yep.
exception of video production. So that still is done on the client side, and so
Right.
this gives me an excuse to like get more powerful computers. I think, which is something I've always enjoyed doing. So, all right. Anyhow, we're talking about vlogging. We're talking about uploading videos, and now let's talk about art appreciation. Okay, so just kind of relax our minds a little bit. One of the things that I find actually really relaxing about art is that it's sort of like the opposite of everything else we do. Everything else we do, for the most part, is for some intention, and usually that intention is tied to making revenue or some sort of service to the world. Art, I think, can be very indulgent, and that's why you see a lot of really wealthy people. They spend a lot of time and money on art. The reason why I think art is indulgent is it is something that you do for yourself. It's something that you do for your own consumption and for your own benefit. But I think certain people tend to appreciate art if there's a little bit structure. So what I'm going to do today is we'll take like kind of a walk around different museums and we'll look at an art history timeline and yeah, we'll just kind of generally explore this idea of different art. But moreover, what I want to do is I want to explore this idea of sensitivity, of being able to sort of start picking out what do you see? Like, can you analyze a painting and be able to deconstruct that painting in your mind? I think when you're able to do that, you can actually feel a little bit more confident in your appreciation for art. Now, where did I get this idea? Originally, I had a very, I'm sure a lot of us might have. Actually, let's go to Vidi. Vidi, what is your general belief around art? Like, what the purpose of art is and how it has any impact on our daily lives.
I think for me, art expresses things that um, you c- that it express more things than what you can express with words or
Ah,
writing.
okay, very good. There's an element of self-expression there. Okay, great. Let's go to Aldo. Aldo, what sort of impact does art have on your life?
I think it's about the visualization and also the satisfaction that we get when we see art.
Okay, all right. Visualization and satisfaction from consuming art. Okay, I guess the topic we're going to sort of narrow down today is this idea of art in the visual sense, right? We're going to look at some paintings. We're going to look at some drawings. We're going to take a look at that. But art can be in, of course, many categories: in music, in cuisine, in mathematics, even in science. I believe that there are artistic and there are very elegant ways to express oneself. And tying back to what Vidi said, I think art, in particular visual art, can be a transformative and inspirational way to send one's message out. Hey, thank you for joining us, Rian. All right, so the first thing I'd like to do is just to kind of take a look at the timeline. So today I've come back with a little bit of a better timeline than the last time, and this is also very interactive, so we can kind of dive down a little bit deeper. This is a pretty good website, and we'll take a look at and see at the history of Western art. Now, of course, there's many different types of art errors in different countries, so this is sort of biased towards West. But let's begin here. So I guess in the very beginning, you have prehistoric art, right? So you have things like cave paintings, and what what does this make you feel? Let's just go to Rian really quickly. Rian, when you look at, let's say, a cave painting like this, what do you feel about what you see here? Oh wow, that's super busy outside, Rian. Looks like Surabaya is coming back to life. Busy outside, Rian. Looks like Surabaya is coming back to life.
Oh, look, I just go to buy some mail, so that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, but actually still, it's quite quiet. So yeah. Anyway, when I saw this picture, I saw that I don't know, like it's pretty hot out there. It's pretty hot. It's pretty hard to live at that time. So
Okay.
that's the first impression that I got by seeing the picture in the from prehistoric time.
Okay. And what do you see in terms of the artist's skill? What do you see in terms of the artist's skill?
In terms of the skill, I think consider that they come from prehistoric period. I think that's quite impressive because as you can see, they can just represent the buffalo, I guess, and the buffalo and everything, and then they can even draw a black horse, which is cool.
Okay, cool. Let's go to Aldo. What do you think about the artist's skill? Over to Aldo. Oh, okay. All right. Let's go to Vidi. Oh, oh, okay. All right. Let's go to Vidi. Vidi, what do you take from this?
Have you guys heard that? I think a lot of people say that one of the greatest invention of in human history is like the creation, the ability to actually document history itself. So I think when I look at this, it's more like I see the progress of civilization and how human evolves.
Interesting. Okay, so you can see basically on an earlier record and see what the progression has been. Now, okay, let's take a look at it that way. Let's whereas in other disciplines, let's say science, progression might be a little bit more evident. In art, I would say it is progression. There is some sort of it's almost like a chain. One event influences the next event, which influences the next event. All right, yeah, understood, Rian. Thank you very much. And let's kind of look at let's jump ahead in time, right? Let's jump from the prehistoric art to let's say to sometime around neoclassical. All right, let's see. Aldo, who is this gentleman here?
If I'm not wrong, Napoleon.
Yes, it's Napoleon. Do you remember? Do you know what the name of his horse is?
No idea.
Okay, all right, doesn't matter. It's trivia. I don't remember either actually. All right. So what can you say about let's say the progression that you see Vidi between the first painting and the second and this one?
Colors,
Okay.
details, and style, I think.
Okay. Color details and style.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. This is where we're going to train you guys to actually have more artistic, let's say, sensitivities. Okay. Rizal, what is the difference between this painting of a horse, okay, and oops, sorry, I'm kind of like trying to navigate. This is a tricky. Okay, close. What do you notice between this painting of a horse and this painting of a horse? What are the main differences that you notice, Rizal, between this cave painting of a horse and the painting of Napoleon's horse?
I think for the previous one is symbol of uh, symbol of the heroes himself. I think this hero is died in a war, not in sick and then died. But I think he died because the 2 foot is it's iron. So I think yeah, I think it's symbol of uh, uh, I don't know, like the symbol of the heroes himself, not the horse.
Okay, wow, that was really interesting. Okay, what Rizal has said is very striking. So yeah, I think I've heard of that before, Rizal, like a certain way of creating statues. If the horse is on flat, it means that the hero died in peace, whereas the horse is reared up, then it was like the hero had died in war. In Napoleon's case, I think he actually died in jail. He was exiled and he died on his island. But I think a lot of people would have said he was very heroic regardless. So okay, that's really interesting that Rizal said that. Okay, you can look at, let's say, the expressive analysis and you can look at the technical analysis of the painting. So let's just look at the technical analysis between these two creations. Maybe I can put them side by side so that we can see them even in closer juxtaposition. So when you have like a cave painting of a horse, then let's put that right next to our picture of Napoleon, right? And and this is where, like, when we talk about, let's say, somebody with a content background, we can get even more, let's say, interesting here. Where did it go? Okay, all right, here it is. Okay, so we have that versus that, right? So we're going to compare this horse here with this horse here. Of course, I think Vidi just mentioned some things with colors and shape and form, but you can see that the form is much more detailed. The form is incredibly accurate. In fact, you show musculature, you show anatomically correct precision. So this horse actually looks like the way I would see a horse in real life. And I'm quite impressed by the technical aspects of this. I'm quite impressed with the flow of the hair. I'm impressed with also how, let's say, the bridle, you can see it sort of depresses on the horse's face. And I'm also impressed with other things that the artist took into consideration. I'm impressed with the sense of dynamism, right? Like you can see that there's energy in the horse's pose. It's standing up, and there seems to be wind or something that moves across the horse's mane. So there's a sense of and of course you can see that in also Napoleon's cloak, right? It sort of swirls around him. So there's an energy in moving even when everything is still. Whereas in this painting, you can't really detect that much movement. Um, it's not so clear. The other thing is related to lighting. So here, everything is sort of lit the same way, right? There's no tone, there's no variation, there's no difference in lighting. But here you can see that the lighting is coming from the front, and there's shadows too as well. And these shadows create this illusion of depth, which sort of creates this really imposing sort of like feature in this painting. It's like you feel movement, you feel depth. It feels very lifelike. And on top of that, you have this sense of background and foreground. You see the horse in the background, and the sort of the ledge here, and in the background you see clouds and mountain. Whereas over on this side, you don't see any of that. So this is actually pretty. And then you see also the next idea is this expression, right? It's this idea of self-expression that is not really even about the horse anymore. It's about the hero. And the horse, even though it occupies the majority of the painting, is not the main subject. Whereas here on the cave painting, you can see that the animals are probably the main subject. But here, the main subject is actually the person, and perhaps even more detail is the person's expression, right? So now it's gotten a little bit more abstract. It's gotten to the point where you create so much to support a very small thing. Now, when you first look at this painting, where does your eye naturally go? Let's go to Vidi. Where is your eye naturally going across this painting? On the right.
On the right, to the person, I think.
Okay, to the person. Any particular part of the person?
His arms, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, his arms. Which arm? The one that's holding the horse?
Yeah, the right arm actually.
The right arm.
Reaching
Right.
up to the sky.
And why are we looking, you think, at his right arm?
That's actually interesting because people, I think when we're trying to reach for attention, we kind of raise our right hand.
It's very expressive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, our hands and our faces are some of the most expressive parts of our bodies, right?
Yeah.
Probably not our feet, probably not our chest, because these things are static, but our arms or fingers, because they are malleable, because they change. Our eyes, they are the expressions where we generate like interest. Let's go to Aldo. What do you see in this painting first? Okay, all right. Let's go to Rizal then. Rizal, what do you see?
From the right or left, sir?
Sorry, the right side. Right side. We're looking at Napoleon's painting.
I think at the face and also from the head. So
Yeah.
I think the head it's he's like the commander or the leader of this war, and then she act like very calm and easy to like commanding the soldiers.
Wow, beautiful, right? All that expression from just the face, a sense of serenity, a sense of calm, no panic, no whatever, a clear direction to go. Let's go this way, right? So, what does this painting express to you, Rizal? If you were to give it one word, what word would you give it?
Winning.
Winning, victory, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Vidi. What word would you use to describe this painting?
Leader.
Leader. Okay. All right. Let's go to Aldo. What word would you give to this painting?
I think brave.
Bravery. Okay. Let me actually let's analyze this a little bit more. Right. This is where art appreciation evolves. Okay. Let's go to Rizal real quick. Now, if you zoom out a little bit on this painting, does it look like Napoleon's winning? Do you feel like he's winning at this moment?
I think not yet, sir.
Right. Why do you think that?
I don't know. The color, I guess. So the color is still it's still a one tone, that orange color, and but for the winner is, I think, a lot of color on that painting.
Right, right. Victory would be more celebratory, right? Much more like an explosion of color, an explosion of happy emotions. Orange is doesn't seem like a happy emotion, right? Like orange seems like kind of like okay, it's there, but it's not quite. And if I may direct your attention, which direction is he going? Is he going uphill or downhill?
Uphill.
He's going uphill, Vidi. So is going uphill feel like winning to, let's say, Rizal? Does going uphill feel like winning?
Yes, we can reach that flag. We can defeat that enemy's flag.
Okay, all right. So, thank you, Aldo. Okay, noted. Okay, so we can do it, right? So that is maybe the emotion before winning. That is the spirit of wanting to win. Look at his soldiers. Do his soldiers look like they're celebrating, or do they look like they're struggling? Over to Rizal.
Uh, little
Do you see his soldiers, his men behind him right here? Do they look like they're celebrating, or do they look like they're struggling?
struggling, sir.
Right, right. They're pushing these cannons up the hill, right? They're on this mountain that it doesn't look flat. It doesn't look easy. It looks very treacherous, a lot of sharp cliffs. And if you look over here, look at this pathway. It's very narrow, right? But what I see is actually I tend to agree with what Vidi and Aldo said. I see bravery. I see leadership. I see a leader because he's above everyone else, right? And he's in the foreground. Everybody's in the background. So he's definitely like the main subject. We're meant to see him. That's very clear. We see that he's in full color and everybody else is in sort of a gray muted. So he has a sense of like the spotlight is on him. He's reared up on a slope, which kind of expresses that he's rising to a challenge, right? He's rising to a challenge, and it doesn't look like he has much right now. He doesn't have, let's say, like a wreath or a crown or anything that signifies victory or celebration yet. It looks like he's on his way. He's on his way. He's on a path towards like bravery. I don't know why, but his name is carved on that stone there, right? And you can see right here, the painting is Napoleon crossing the Alps. Why is he crossing the Alps? He's bringing a campaign. So he's on his way to a fight. So he's on his way to invade another country. So this is, I think, an expression of leadership, which is actually very abstract if you think about it, right? Why does a man on a horse in a mountain mean leadership? It's not what it shows. It shows a man on a horse, right? That's what the painting shows. But the idea that it generates, the feeling that it generates, is this feeling of leadership, is this feeling of bravery, of fighting, of leading men in a difficult situation towards some type of goal. So if you see this like in a CEO office, then you know that, oh, okay, all right, this makes sense. This belongs here. If you see this in like a NGO's office, you might be like, huh? Okay, this is a little bit weird to find here, right? So this is the evolution, I think, of a painting. A painting can go from just sort of going and talking about figures and about like kind of visual representations of the actual subject to a place where it's not actually about the subject at all. It's nothing about even, let's say, Napoleon or a man. It's about leading. And that painting is a pretty good representation of the spirit of leadership, of this thing that's really hard to express, let's say maybe through writing or through a story. It expresses it pretty well in a visual way right here in this painting, right? Cool. All right. So the process that I wanted to bring you guys through is this process of interpretation, right? How do you interpret the painting and how that makes actually the influence on you? Okay, let's see. This was a neoclassical painting, and let's go kind of a little bit further. Oh, okay, all right. This is interesting. All right. I don't know if you guys read the title, but let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this painting. Kezia, how does this painting make you feel? The painting on the right.
On the left,
On the right. The painting on the right.
on the right.
Yes.
I just see like people do communicate each other, or maybe they are fight each other in there,
Okay.
and it feels like they are fighting or communicate each other to go to heaven. I don't know.
Okay. Which direction do you feel like people are going? Up or down, Kezia?
Up.
People are going up. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Diana thinks it's going down. Okay. Let's go to Rizal. Which direction are people going in this picture, Rizal? Up or down?
This one.
Yeah.
Down.
Down. Okay. All right. Vinny, which direction do you think they're going? Up or down?
Down.
Okay. Do they? Is this? What's the mood of this painting, Vinny? Is it happy, sad, or what do you get?
Yeah, like somber, sad.
Somber, right? Somber, dark. Okay, Kezia, what mood do you get out of looking at this painting? On the painting on the right. On the right. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Rizal. Rizal, what mood do you get out of looking at this painting on the right?
Gloomy, sad.
Why? Why do you feel gloomy and sad?
Because a lot of people facing to down direction.
Okay, they're facing down. They're looking down, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
they're all looking down, right? Everyone's looking down. Okay,
and also I don't know, like their body like this. What is called?
hunched. Their bodies is hunched, right? Not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Napoleon. Not like put up the door.
Yeah.
Like not that victorious pose, right? Okay,
I think
hunched.
that one for me is like demoted from heaven to the hell.
Interesting. Demoted from heaven to hell, right? Okay. and let's deconstruct this painting. Why do we feel this way? Let's look at the detail, right? Like you can see the detail is the colors. The colors are not cheerful colors. The colors are very somber colors. We're talking about grays and stark white, not even nice white, but like this really blinding white, right? Like kind of the white that you see when you step out into a very bright day after having just spent years in a cave. You can see that everyone's looking down, everyone's hunched over, and people don't look like they're enjoying. Look at the people down here. They're packed very closely together. They don't look like they're happy. They're not dancing. They're not at like Studio 54. They're crowded and they're looking up and they're not good. And this man over here, look, he's on crutches, right? And here's a person that's coming in to try to save him, I think. So there's a lot of gloominess here. And look at this person. This person's crawling in. So there's not a lot of cheer here. There's not a lot of joy. In fact, I would say that this looks deathly. And Wayana kind of got this right on the head. This is the descent of man into the vale of death, right? This is a story about death. This is a story about how people descend and they go from living to not living. And you can kind of express this idea of the decay of a person's life through a painting. Back to the idea that Vidi was mentioning. How would you express that otherwise? How would you say, hey, look, this is our journey into death? So this painting kind of gets that across. But once again, let's take a look at this. Is this painting about people? Is it about a cave? Is it a pathway? Aldo, is this painting about any of these actual things?
Sorry, sir, I don't get it.
So is this painting about a cave? Is this painting about people? Is this painting about like clothing? Is this painting about rocks? What is this painting really about?
I think it's really about a journey, the journey itself.
Ah, yes, correct. It's about a journey. And why is it a journey? Because it shows a descent, right? So once again, it's telling a story through linear form. It's not a snapshot. It's showing a progression. It's showing people coming from here, going all the way down. And so, yes, the descent of man into the vale of death, it expresses a journey, which is interesting, right? Now, let's compare that. Let's compare that to this rock carving over here. Now, let's look at this rock carving. Let's go to Vidi. What does this rock carving represent to you?
Kind of like, seems like
It represents what?
greatness.
Greatness? Okay. Who do you
Yeah.
think is great?
The one who's sitting.
Yeah, probably, right? Looks like a
Yeah.
king. Looks like somebody, he's got a lot of like a turban here. Okay, let's go to Kezia. Kezia, what do you see on this sculpture on the left?
I just see like the king and his person talk each other. I just see like that.
Right. It's a king talking to a person. All right. Interesting. What do you see, Aldo, on the left?
I think I see someone who looking for a blessing.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Great. Now, look. Do you see anything else? Do you see any emotion? Do you see any theme around this? Rizal. Is there any concept that is not concrete here?
I see that not an expression, but giving some advice to their person and yeah, just like giving some advice.
Okay, let's take a look at this too. Let's not forget there's details here, right? There's a lot of script, I think, in I don't know, some language down here, right? So that probably is something, right? What do you think that is? Let's go to Rizal. What do you think all this script underneath the sculpture is? Do you see that? There's some sort of writings down here. Or maybe they're not writings. Maybe it's just
the pattern of the wall.
Cannot see, sir.
okay, all right. But it can't be the pattern of the wall, babe, because look at the pattern of the wall above. It doesn't have that pattern, right? So only below is there a pattern. Above there is no pattern. So that was done intentionally. Okay, here's my point. Here's my point. So the point is there is a progression across art. So art in the ancient world was very how would you call it? It's very how would I say direct, right? What I put down is what I mean. It's almost symbolic, right? It's not expressive. This is nothing. The actual elements of the painting here have nothing to do with the meaning of the painting, right? This painting is not about people. It's not about rocks. It's not about a cave. It's about death. This is only about the transaction that you see, right? There's nothing more than that. Is this about bravery? No. Is this about leadership? No. It's nothing. It's exactly what it is, right? And if you remember the other thing here of the animals was exactly the same. Is this about leadership? Is this about the thrill? Is this about prosperity? Is this about, is this about death? Is this about the cycle of life? No, it's just some cows and horses, right? As far as we can tell. So the progression that you see across art is that art becomes more abstract. Art is getting more abstract to talk about something that is not what the actual things on the depiction is actually meaning. Does that make sense? So this painting on the right is talking about death, right? The descent of man into the veil of death. But none of the actual components of it speak about death, right? You don't see anyone dying here, but you know from the color, the tone, the descent, the pose, the even the location. It's gloomy. It's not about something happy. And from what you can tell, it looks like sorrow. It looks like old age. It looks like the themes of death. So that together with the title confirms that. Okay, so this is where the development happens, right? Okay, let's continue. So we can see that earlier art is more pictorial. It's more just, this is the subject. Let me show you what it is. Evolved art starts becoming about different things that are harder to express, right? Because this is more of a challenge. When you want to express something like, this is a bull, that's easy, right? You can just paint a picture of a bull. But if you want to express something like the journey of life, well, how do you get that across, right? Now you might think I paint a baby, a full man, an old man, I paint a grave, right? That can sort of express a journey of life. But is the painting now about people? No, it's about something else, right? And so this is the idea of like what art is trying to do. What artists are trying to do is they're trying to get to an idea or a feeling that's less and less tangible. Art's more and more like how would I say, ethereal, not so concrete. Okay? The thing that you see on the left is very concrete. The thing you see on the right can be interpreted. Okay, let's keep on going. Let's go to the next era. All right, now what about this, right? This is a painting, and I'll show you the title already. So this is a painting, but what do you get from this particular painting? Let's go with Ara. Ara, you're new here. What do you get from this particular painting?
At some. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I catch a feeling when I see the realism pictures.
Okay.
It's that I think it's more on like showing how, for me, because it's foggy and then we cannot see people's face. They're all like looking down.
Yes.
So in that case, I feel like there are a lot of feelings that I can actually catch based on this picture.
Very good, very good. I detect that too. It is somewhat somber. There are shadows on people's faces. They're not doing anything that interesting, right? They're not like, they seem to be picking up the leftover of wheat that's been after a harvest. And there's fogginess too as well. Let's go to Vidi. Vidi, what do you get from this painting on the right?
On the right, it's very focused on one activity. It displays something that occurs in daily life, basically.
Yes.
And I don't know, but a lot of these paintings always take certain numbers like 3 or 1, 3, like 5, 7, 12. Like the numbers are always very interesting.
That's right. That's right. Okay, there's a deliberate choice on the cast. Kezia, what do you get from this painting?
Okay. On the right picture, I just feel it's paint on the long time ago.
Mhm.
Like yeah, there is like a woman and just do harvest. That's it.
Okay, got it. All right, let's go to Aldo. Aldo, what do you think is the difference between the style of painting on the right and the style of painting on the left?
I think from the left one is more cheerful than the right side,
Definitely. Okay.
and I feel the right side is more of like a poverty, and the left side is more of a joyfulness.
Right, right, right. Very good. Okay. So this is also fairly interesting, everyone. So remember, who paid for this painting before? The painting on the left, who do you think paid for that? Okay. Andre's at the base. Hey, Andre, welcome in. Okay. Let's go to Ara. Ara, who do you think paid for the painting on the left?
On the left, paid.
Yeah. Who commissioned the painting? Who paid the artist to actually make that painting?
I think it's somebody from the palace or something like that, or government.
A rich person, right? Somebody who's like looking to look splendid. And who do you think the intended audience was for that painting on the left?
Somebody important, I can really say, but like the arts lover
Okay.
or somebody that visited a good, I don't know, a good, but it must be somebody in class. So
Okay, classy people, right? Visitors. Let's go to Kezia. Kezia, who do you think this painting on the right was meant for?
Just from somebody who live in the village, or yeah,
Right,
just someone who ordinary.
right, right. So you see that? Okay, so this one is a shift in the audience now. So the audience, I think, on the left is for people who are not necessarily important. All right, I think people who want to make other people feel like they are important, right? So the painting on the left is during the Renaissance time, and during the Renaissance, there were a lot of very powerful families, and they would commission artists like Michelangelo, Da Vinci, whoever, to make these magnificent paintings to put in their magnificent chapels so that everybody would go, wow, this is magnificent. This is amazing. When you look at the Sistine Chapel, it does not show people picking up, pieces of wheat in a field, right? It shows the big picture, like, angels and gods and the creation of mankind and all these super topics. But as we progress in humanity's history, you see that now this topic is become very, very, very real, right? This topic of just showing people in their daily life, picking up some grain, going to the market, emptying a jug of milk, doing all these day-to-day activities. This can be subject matter for art. If you took it to the Renaissance and you asked a wealthy patron, "Hey, can you paint just some butcher carving up like a pig?" They'd be like, "No, that's crazy. Why would I ever take a picture of that?" Right? That's a waste of artistic talent. That's like taking I don't know. That's like taking I'm trying to think of a modern analogy to that. So what's happened is a few things across history. You see that, like, one, I think the dissemination of artistic skills. Like, it used to be during the Renaissance, very few people probably had this kind of skill. So they were very expensive. If you wanted to hire them, then you would give them a very expensive art subject to write about. Like, okay, this is really cool. This is Western civilization, right? This is showing how advanced we are by looking back on the Greeks. But by the time you're in the 1800s, more people have picked up these skills. So you can be a little bit more casual. It's exactly what happened to, let's say, photography in the era of social media, right? So in photography before, you would think that it is, or journalism in the era of social media. Journalism before social media was for important subjects like politics, like culture, like things that concern a large group of people, right? That is what journalists go and cover. But in the area of social media, what do you have? You have everybody's writing about everything that they're doing on a daily basis. They're taking a picture of what they're eating for lunch. They're taking a picture of what they're eating for breakfast. They're showing how they All this stuff has now become very common. What is a vlogger? A vlogger is in the world of realism, right? Whereas, like, let's say a movie producer is more in the era of like the Renaissance art. They're trying to talk about these big, huge subjects. So this is actually a pretty fascinating shift in taste. This is a shift now in the audience. The audience used to be for art very, very rich people, right? Who could afford the art, and they would show off to people who would be like, "Wow, you're rich. You can create these incredible things." But the audience has shifted now. The audience has shifted now to a more ordinary, more daily user. And that is actually something that's important to remember too. Because when you see that, you can see that power has shifted. Power has shifted away from kings, away from royalty, more to the common people now. Because this is the art that the common people want to see, which is pretty interesting. Okay, let's continue our journey. Now, ooh, wow. This is an interesting epoch. Art Nouveau. Art Nouveau. Let's go to Ara. What do you see about Art Nouveau here?
Is it like tarot card?
Is it like what?
Tarot cards.
Yeah, kind of like a tarot card. Yeah, I noticed that. Very, very sharp comparison there. Kezia, what do you see?
I see the woman who are trying to modeling her body and just it.
Okay, and let's go to video. Video, what do you see?
A more babyish, like in comparison to the previous one, it's more like babyish.
More cartoon-like, right? More
Yeah,
playful.
more
Yeah.
like yeah.
Okay, and everything's more playful. The font is playful. The stars are playful. Wearing that crown, that it doesn't look imposing. It looks almost like theatrical or childish in a way. So
Yeah, it's like fairy tale, right?
yeah, like a fairy tale, like the beginning of comic books, in fact. So this is a much less serious approach to art, right? Nothing so somber, so whatever. Much more. This is almost like advertising art now. You could put this on like a cereal box or a package of cigarettes or whatever, and it would seem to find its place. And if you put this on a package of cigarettes, it would look way too like crazy, right? Like what the hell? I mean, that'd be fun, but it looks too serious. Now you're getting to a form of art that is almost comical in a way. Okay, let's see this. I don't know anything about mannerism. Ooh, wow, Baroque. Let's take a look at Baroque art. So on the left panel here. Okay, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. All right, this is a great comparison. Two modalities. We got Impressionism on the right, and we got Baroque on the left. Let's go to Ara again. Ara, what do you see in the Baroque painting?
Apa ya? It's I'm not sure.
Okay,
Actually.
let's go to Rizal. Oh, Rizal I think is out. Aldo might be out, or I'm not sure. Rizal, if you hear me. Oh, okay, it's Andre.
Is that you have thought?
Okay, Andre, what do you see on the left painting? How does that make you feel?
I think it's more. I see it's something soft painting, sir.
Okay, it's a soft painting. Why is it soft? Rizal.
Because it's color, I think.
Okay.
I always from its color first, so because it's sweet and it's soft.
Okay.
So that's what's got in my eyes.
Interesting, soft, because rounded edges, no sharp corners, very rounded muscles, rounded colors, rounded tone, rounded lighting. Let's go to Aldo. Aldo, how do you interpret the painting on the left?
I don't know. They use the bright color, constant color,
Yeah.
of gold,
Okay.
and I think it sounds like some adventurous things.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's go to Vidi. Vidi, what do you get out of this?
Comparing the left to the right or just the left?
Just on the left side. What do you see on the left?
So it shows a scene, I guess. But the thing is, the scene from the expression and the like the body gesture. There are a lot of this kind of painting, which, from my point of view, the gestures are pretty random. It doesn't connect to the scene.
Mhm.
Does it make sense? Like, one person is looking at the desk, one person is pointing his finger, the other person is not even looking at the guy, but looking at behind the guy, I think.
Right. The calling of Saint Matthew. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at this. This is the calling of Saint Matthew, is a masterpiece by Michelangelo Medici da Caravaggio. Okay, depicting the moment at which Jesus Christ inspires Matthew to follow him. Interesting. Jesus Christ inspires Matthew to follow him. Where's Jesus? Where's Matthew? That's Jesus. I can't see Jesus. It doesn't look like Jesus. Jesus never wore a hat.
I don't know.
Okay, interesting. Can't tell.
Because everyone eyes going that way.
Yeah.
Somewhere there.
Okay. All right. Yes, I agree. It's a little bit hard to follow. All right. Interesting. Let's go to. I think that's it. All right. Here's what I see. This person is trying to impress us because this is very impressive. This is very impressive. Why is it impressive? Because it's so masterful with lighting. Look at the lighting. The lighting is perfect. There is no two surfaces where the lighting is exactly the same, right? Look at this arm over here. This receives a lot of direct light. Look at this face over here. It receives a gradient of light across the face and then a gradient of shadow on the other side. Look at the musculature and the calf muscle on this person's feet. Look at the calf muscle and the lighting. The lighting is just so expertly done. It's so well thought out. And that is what, and the shadows. Look at the shadows. The shadows they're not hard. They softly dissipate away. So this person is trying to express their expertise in lighting and shadow. And I don't think that's easy to do. I think it would take quite a long time to be able to actually create that interplay of lighting and shadow. But let's take a look over here on the right side. Same idea, but different now, right? Same idea. What makes this painting interesting, this Monet, is what? Let's go to Ara. What do you see on this Monet here on the right side?
A little bit abstract in the terms that it might get painted in the way that unusual, maybe.
Right.
And
A little bit abstract. Okay. What else do you pick up?
it's emptiness.
Okay. There's a sense of emptiness. Very good. Right. Almost a sense of gloom, maybe a sense of uncertainty, right? But there's hope. All right. Where is there hope?
The sun.
Right. Where is there hope on the sun?
I think people tend to see the sun as something positive, and that's the only positive thing that I can see in the picture, right?
Okay.
So
what else do you see? What else do you see in the sun and the positivity? There's also a pathway, right? Very good, babe. So there's a pathway.
Where?
There's the reflection of the sun in the water, right?
Mhm.
All right. There's sort of like this little reflection in the water showing where the sun is, and this person is entering the pathway. So they're close to it, right? They're almost close to sort of finding their way out. Yeah, and that seems like a river, and these seem like, I don't know, whatever's on the dock. Okay, let's go to Alda. Alda, what is this? What does this painting do for you?
I don't know. I feel like it's barely finished. I think with the line over on the left,
Yep.
and
It's like incomplete. Like, what is this? Right?
yeah, like I don't know. I feel like uncertain too.
Yeah,
That
uncertainty, right? You feel uncertainty. Okay, interesting. Let's go to Vidi. What do you feel?
Feels like the one on the right expresses the emotion, but the one on the left expresses like a scene.
Yes. Yes.
So it's more like it expresses feelings.
Yes.
Because the person, the individuals, the actors are not clear, but
Yes.
somewhere you feel something.
Yes. The one on the left is done with utter devotion. The artist is a slave to the subject, right? The artist is not doing anything besides doing their very best job to to portray this scene. It's like a camera. It's like, why do you buy a 10 megapixel camera over a 5 megapixel camera? Because I want that resolution. I want that shadow. I want that detail, right? So the artist in this particular case, this Caravaggio, is a slave. He's not a slave, but he's not expressing anything of his own idea. He's like a really good technician. He's really good at technically recreating a scene, but the scene is what gives that painting its emotional impact, right? That emotional impact of Jesus getting his first follower. That's what makes you feel, oh, this is incredible, and thank you for portraying it so well. But the artist is only portraying the scene, right? Now let's go over to the Monet. Now the Monet is completely different. The artist is creating that feeling just by the work itself, okay? So the work itself is creating that uncertainty. The work itself is creating the sense of hope. The work itself is creating the sense of, here's a bright sun in a very gloomy, foggy looking thing. Why is the sun interesting? It's the only shape with any certainty, right? Look at all the other shapes. All the other shapes are smudged. They're not very clear, but the sun is clear. It's a perfect circle. And on top of that, it has a little bit of a swirl too, almost like a playful gesture. Look at all the other boats. None of the other boats are clear except the person who is approaching the sunlight path here in whatever the water, right? So it's like this person is being focused on, this pathway seems to be a pathway of hope, and the sun is there, and it's called Sunrise as a title. So that's hope, right? It's like you've made it through the long evening, and now the sun is coming out. And that gets that emotion across, right? That expresses that emotion entirely. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We're going to go even more extreme. We're going to up our abstraction level to the next level. We're going to up our abstraction level to something that gets really weird to, hey, where did it go? Let's go and find some really abstract art, right? And this is where I wanted to bring everybody like to this moment now.
Whoa, what the heck?
Right. Let's say, ooh, that's not good. Oh, wait, let me get a Jackson Pollock that's a high setting. So let me go ahead and look for a large Jackson Pollock. Okay, let's take what we've been feeling and analyzing at, oh, what? This is weird. This is, what? It's on Amazon. That's not what I was looking for. Can I get one that's actually a little bit higher? Oh, let's go with this one. Okay, this one's fairly large. Okay, let me open that up. Now let's take a look at, god damn it, why is there this text on it? It's screwing me up. Okay, wait, here we go. Here we go. All right, get rid of this little newsletter thing. Okay, let's go with that now. Let's go with that. Let's go very extreme. Let's go to the extreme of no comparison. Now, Ara, when you look at this, what do you get out of this?
I'm not a fan of this type of paintings because it's really hard to understand what does it exactly feels. I don't even know how to feel about it. So I would say it's more on confusing for me, like what is it, yeah, complicated. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's meditate on that a little bit longer, right? So you feel confusion, you feel this. What type of confusion do you feel, Ara?
To understand what exactly it means, what the artist trying to interpret through the picture, the painting.
Okay, now you're thinking about the artist's intention. What do you feel though?
Exactly, I feel complicated and like I usually like skip this type of paintings because I just don't understand. So yeah.
Okay, let's continue. Let's go to Andre. Andre, what do you feel when you start looking at this?
Basically, it's not an easy painting to see to understand like that. I was once also in museum Afandi, if you know, in Jogja, and I saw an abstract painting that we can only see it from a distance. We cannot see it at close. But I think when I see this painting, I might see that I see plants or like bamboo like that, something else straight vertical like that. So I only
Right.
saw that.
Okay, so you see vertical lines and it reminds you of bamboo and plants. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Aldo, what do you see? Oh, Aldo, you see anything, Aldo?
Sorry, sir.
Aldo, what do you see in this painting?
Uh, I can feel any more emotion, but this painting has this pattern of that lines there,
Mhm.
black lines,
Okay.
and I think that's the only thing I see.
Okay, let's go to Vidi. Vidi, what do you see?
I think we've discussed this before. It's like snow for me,
Mhm.
right? Like a tree and a branch, snow.
Interesting.
Okay, all right. A little bit of geometrical. This is interesting because each person will see what
I see
they.
different, very different
Okay,
things.
what do you see, babe? What do you see, Wayana?
So what I see here, like basically, it's like a trees, like
Okay,
jungles. I
okay,
think jungle is full of like animal grasshoppers, and I see this is like on the shape of this is like a lot of grasshoppers,
okay. A lot of grasshoppers. Okay,
and
through the
then
jungle.
this spiky animal is often um, sort up. It's I don't know like uh, like a dragon
Oh
or
yeah, 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 okay. I
or
see.
a
I see.
monkey
Yeah, there's like
or
these things that seem
and
to have
also there is
heads.
somebody like stuck in the middle.
Okay, somebody stuck in the middle, right? Interesting.
So yeah,
All right, so some people see geometry. They see shapes. Some people see animals because my
yeah,
wife loves animals, so she sees animals.
yeah.
Vidi, I
You
think,
see the
sees
grasshoppers
geometry,
very
right?
very clear here.
Very good. Okay, grasshopper. Okay, like
Yeah,
when I interprets that as a grasshopper. Ara interprets it as confusion. What you see is you see yourself, right? What you see is you're taking a look and you're understanding how your own mind sees things. Is that kind of cool?
Okay, so that the painter trying to say that I am complicated type of person.
Yeah, kind of. What you see is reflection of your own ideas, which is really interesting, right? And it's really revealing. It's really revealing when you do this with a group of people too. You can see how people make sense of the world, right? So Ara seems like a no nonsense person. She needs order. She needs whatever, some sort of form in order for this to make sense. If there's no form for her, that's confusion. That is senseless. And then she sees, what is this person trying to communicate to me? So that's the second layer of Ara's like interpretation, right? That is the feeling, right? That is the experience you're supposed to go through. All right, let me tell you what I see. What I see when I look at this is I see multidimensional, right? I focus on one color at a time. I focus on the dark blues and the blacks that make up the poles. And I see and I see dark things. I see maybe like heads on stakes right there, right? So I see this like sort of like landscape of like saute, but with heads on them, and they're flowing in the wind, and they're flowing in the wind because I see that there's sort of this movement that's going from the left to the right, right? If you look at it, they're all blowing over to left to right, and I see then I switch my frequency and I look only at the red trails, right? I only look at the red paint. And I see that as almost like blood or confusion or some sort of agony. I see this as scattered everywhere, but it connects all the heads together in some sort of weird way. And then I look at the yellow paint and I see that it's different. It's not going in the same direction and it doesn't have the same connectivity as the red paint. The yellow paint seems to like explode from different areas, and the white is just like synapses or cotton candy or like spider webs. Yeah, everywhere. So what I see in this is I see warfare, right? I see a battle. I see struggle. But what's interesting about this type of painting is everyone will see something unique. Everyone will see something that they themselves can see only, and that's what makes it kind of cool, right? That's what makes this experience so unique. When you have a subject, everyone says the same thing, right? Like let's take this. Let's go back to the very beginning again to this cave painting. Like nobody would say, you know what, that painting on the left is a painting of a king getting married with a queen. If anybody said that, you would think that they were smoking crack, right? Because that doesn't make any sense at all. That clearly is some bulls and a horse and some deer. Yes, Ara.
Oh, sorry, I have an interesting question. So, can I use that picture on an interview that I know a person from how they see the picture?
You can, Ara. You can. You can use that picture as a way of understanding how a person interprets the world, right? Because that picture is, think of it this way, ladies and gentlemen. This art is amazing because it creates a different reaction with a different person. And 1,000 people will see this, and 1,000 people will have different reactions. Of course, the first reaction is, what is this nonsense, right? But then after a while, and you look at it for a longer time, something will come out of it, right? Some sort of visual interpretation. Like, it's different. Let's say you went into a book, okay? Let's say you went into a book and all you see in the book is just gibberish, right? AXZY, BXY, and then you look at it, you're like, this means nothing, right? These aren't words, the letters are upside down, they don't mean anything. But when you take visual representation and you distort it this way, it's weird. It's like you can everyone will have their own interpretation. Okay. So, anyways, okay, that might be a little bit too big of a jump. I was hoping to make the connect of the idea of abstraction from impressionism to something really abstract, but maybe that was too far. Okay, let's go around. Wait, 5:30. Oh, it's time. It's already an hour now. So that's pretty much it. But anyway, I hope you guys had fun again today on the process of analyzing art. I think art is something that is enormously rewarding. The more you look at it, the more you can start saying, "Yeah, I see what is skill. I see what is good art." But also remember that the most unfair part about art is that it's not so much what the artist has created; it's about how you feel. It's about how you interpreted it. So people walking in a cave is death. A sunrise, a red dot over with a few strokes and over a blue smoky background, that represents hope, right? It represents a new beginning. So it is up to you. It is up to the interpreter to actually draw the conclusion. And that's what makes art such a struggle to be actually a profession too as well. Because everybody will value it differently. Everybody will see it differently. And nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just kind of like that's what it is. Okay, so that was our art appreciation discussion today. Hope you guys had fun. Hope you guys got a bit more sensitivity to being able to pick out the details of an art, and also this idea of relaxing your mind and just let the thoughts sort of come to you as they will. And I think when you really get good at art, you can start feeling things that normally you can't. You can really just oh wow, I feel aroused. Maybe I feel turned on. I don't even know why I feel turned on by this, but I do. Maybe you feel disgusted. You know, you're like, oh, this is really like, this makes me feel like revolting, but you don't know why. But try to understand, and then you'll understand how you interpret art yourself. Okay? So, okay, have a good evening, everyone. Hope everyone had fun, and we'll set a schedule for what the rest of the week will be. Thursdays is Python programming, right, Vidi? Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Ara, do you want to lead a class this week? Oh wait, you always lead happy hour, so that's
Yeah.
yours. Did you want to lead another type of class?
Let's see.
Okay.
I'm interested on